It should be done by then anyway, really. But
Yeah.
I'm just doing it.
Are we up to 53157? Are we past that now?
5-3 what?
157.
I think so. The one that was on before is 53212.
Yeah, so that must be done. Afternoon, welcome in. I don't think the chat's working, by the way. I just opened up YouTube and I can see chats on there, but they're not pulling in as usual. Let me just check the other platforms as well. Yeah, that one's okay. Yep, I think they're pulling in now. I think it's just a big delay. Have you ever used the T100? Yeah, a good while ago. I think the TS80. Can't remember the TS80's new or old, but I've used both the TS80 and TS100. They're both good irons, but now for the same price, you can just get like clones of other brands, and they're just as good. Hey, welcome from Twitch. That's kicking in now. I think it's just been a bit of a delay getting the stream going there. Just give me a few minutes. I've just got to do an email, and then I'll crack on with this. Ah, yeah, the TS80. Is that the one with the old? Was it the old DC jack? Like a heavy cable. I think the main problem I found with them was the heavy cable stuff. Like if it's not flexible in your hand like a proper iron is and kind of easy to move. I think that's the biggest problems I found with like the portable ones. If you don't get a proper silicon one, then I think that also is one of the main problems with them. I'll be doing a PlayStation 2 Slim HDMI mod in a minute as well. I've just got to whip all the connectors off these, and then we'll jump onto the PS2. But I'm just, like I say, just bear with me 2 seconds. I just jumped on stream and then had some work coming. I've just got to quickly do. Just got to make a few print shells and drop an email. So I will start work in a second. Just bear with me a minute. GBA shells. That's that done. Cool. Right, we can crack on now. Right, yeah. So I've got firstly, yeah, the silicon die easy. Yeah, maybe just the fact that they're so flexible, they fracture inside probably if they're low quality. Got a new setup now, so for those that haven't been on stream for a while, I've got a new Blackmagic face cam, so ridiculously sharp. Change the side camera now to a Blackmagic, so it might not be immediately obvious because when you're zoomed out, there's not that much detail. But if I zoom in, for example, I can go nice and close, and I can also manually pull focus if I wanted to kind of focus on things, and then you'll tell we've now got a Blackmagic for the side cam as well. So I think once I've started doing Blackmagic on all the other stuff, I couldn't resist. So we're a full decent setup now. Can you help with coil wine? Sure, give us a bit more detail. Might be able to give you a hand. It all depends on exactly what your product is and what the issue is. I can get this in the holder. These motherboards are in, oh yeah, definitely. The Game Gears, Game Boys, very simple designs. We've actually obviously made our own for most of these handhelds as well. You've got to bear in mind these were made in like the 80s as well, so for the time, they're really good. So I'm just going to salvage these connectors. So we repurpose these connectors. So just going to strip all these. It's just a batch. I'll just wait till we've got some and then I'll strip them all down. So I'll strip this down and then we'll do a PlayStation 2 HDMI mod after this. I suppose now as well I can make use of the new zoomy feature. Get him over here somewhere. Full focus. There we go. Now you get to at least see some of it going on. Is there any upgrade for Xbox Series X? No, we don't really work on the modern stuff. We fix HDMI ports when they're broken, but that's about it. Got some spam in chat somewhere. That's someone's spamming chat and it doesn't show up, so I think they've either already been flagged or they think they were going to appear on stream and they're not. Yeah, so we don't do modern console upgrades as such. We just do most of the retro upgrades, and we'll just fix the modern stuff. We'll just tend to fix like HDMI ports. That's all we tend to do on them. Hey, welcome in. We're just stripping some connectors off these Game Gears, then we're going to get onto a PS2 Slim HDMI mod. Oh, we need these coils as well. Forgot about them. So we also robbed the coils off the back here. The Game Gear coils are actually the same for the PC Engine, and you can't get them for PC Engine. So we've started harvesting the coils off the Game Gears as well. So if you guys have these boards, definitely take the coils off and keep them, because once we start making the PC Engine GT pre-assembled re-PCB, they'll come in useful. And normally you don't have to touch the coils, you can just heat them from the other side and they fall out most of the time. Of course, this one isn't moving. Yeah, this one's probably stuck on something underneath. And we don't care about the board, by the way. We're just using the hottest temp on the hot air to get these off, because these are scrap boards. We just want to get the components off as fast as possible. So not trying to be delicate of these boards whatsoever. There we go. So that probably would have fell off if I'd give it a bit more time, maybe. Let's go out with this one. There we go. So they take a little while, they do, with them being obviously giant coils of copper, but they do just basically drop out. Both of them stripped. Hey, yeah, Happy New Year too. So, what are we already? 6 days in already? Did anybody actually bother doing anything for New Year? I know I didn't bother. Same as every other day, basically. I don't think many did much for New Year's that I know this year, anyway. Yeah, you can definitely see the better quality on the side cam, at least, using the Blackmagic now for the side angles actually clear instead of well, what was effectively blurry compared to this now. I'm glad it's over. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are. around for the coil. Now you got a flue. See, I think we've all had flues. I've got one at the minute. I've had one for probably about a week now, I think. I think it come on, actually, I think it come on day before Christmas, I think. So that'll be over a week now. I think it's just all the cold weather, isn't it, though, when it drops from being, you know, warmish in a sense to just dropping rapid. Everybody seems to get laid off. There we go. 3 more to go. Well, 4 more to go. PlayStation time. 3 more because that's only got a connector on. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what we did. Just did nothing the whole way through Christmas, just relaxed and caught up on chilling a bit. Just the usual, go out for drinks and do all that. I did like little bits of work throughout the like the day, but didn't feel like work because nobody else was, so it was like just a casual work pace. I've got a GG, no power, been doing caps, removed all caps from main board, testing them with removed. I'm getting no red light boots, but backlight flashes on and out. Yeah, so if you're using, I presume you're using an original power board. The turning on and off's got nothing to do with the Game Gear itself as such. The Game Gear can't turn off the power, but the original power boards, when they get overloaded or they're faulty, they'll turn themselves off. So you've either got a short on the Game Gear that's basically then causing the power board to turn off, or you've got a faulty power board, so it's turning off because it's just faulty. So I'd use, have you got a bench power supply? Or I suppose a USB cable, if not. You can bridge on here, I suppose I can show you. Oh, we've got one. I know. Is audio on this one now? I know what it might be. Let me know if audio's on this. Actually, I don't know what it is, but if audio comes back here, I've got an idea maybe. Yeah, so I presume if I swap this overhead, you're going to lose audio. So let's see. There we go. I presume you're going to have audio now. I was messing with. Why is the face not showing either? Face cam. Chat overlay. There we go. Yeah, so I was using this overlay, this stream camera to do photos earlier for the new shells. And I hid all the overlays, including the mic, to take the photo. I forgot I was messing with that. I probably shouldn't mess with the actual streams setup. So yeah, I just thought I'll use this nice overhead to make new photos of like the Game Boy shells. And if I hide the live overlays, then the microphone's in the live overlay, so you lose audio. But on my screen, it shows as if you've got audio. So let me check I didn't screw anything else up. Screen capture still works. HDMI works, but there's nothing plugged in. Yep, there we go. Thermal, I can't even remember the thermal. Plugged into somewhere. But yeah, anyway, that's back up. So what I was saying till I switched to this, if you want to power off like a USB cable, get a USB cable, cut it what you don't want, like one end plugged into a plug, cut the other end so you can strip the wires, and you'll be left with, well, I've got one anywhere, like this. So we go to the nice clear one. So USB 1 end, like don't do USB-C, do a USB-A. So ignore the fact that it's USB-C, get a USB-A cable, cut the other end, and you'll find either you've got a metal shield and a red wire, or you'll have a black and red wire. Black is ground, red is the 5 volts. And then what you'll do is you'll bridge the 2 5 volts here and this VBAT here, and then that goes to the red of the USB. Then you will attach ground to any one of these 3 because they're all ground. So you can see pinouts here. And then you need to short VREF and ground together. So that's these 2 pins here. So basically 1, 2, 3, the 4th and 5th pin. So 1, miss 1, 3, 4. So short these 2 together. So they're grounded. And then when you power it from USB cable, that should fully power up the console. And that's called VREF bypass. So I'd do that, and then you're removing the potential issue with that's all done. You're removing a potential issue with your power board, because it could just be a power board, it could be the Game Gear, but if you power it then from USB, you're going to have effectively almost unlimited power. The USB would have to like trip out itself if you had a short, but what you might find is instead you'll probably just get you'll get something smoking on the board, or it'll work, or the USB will trip out. But that's where I'd start if you're having the power issue. Oh, and I should have fixed morning Big Bro, welcome in. I should have fixed TikTok now as well. Apparently when I reached out to my I don't know, content person, like, because I get like a proper manager with having the little blue tick thing, he said the TikTok's actually been banned for a while now. So even though I could go live, it'd show as if we're live and then ban. That should be fixed now, and we're not banned at the minute, which is good. But I don't know what the viewers are, because it says 3 on screen, but it says 131 on the overlay. But I think that's just like total number of people that have actually viewed. You know, it's like a rolling count. I don't think it's the live views. I can't remember. So anyone on TikTok, if there is literally only 3 or 4 people, that's a bit shit. But if you're on there, what is the actual view count at the minute? Is that correct? Is that like for the actual count, or do we have we actually got 134 people and it's just the count isn't working? Maybe I don't know which one it is, because I always forget. Like, there's 2 views on it. One is just literally consecutive view, you know, like total overall views, not live viewers, and I never remember which. Oh yeah, I've had the blue tick on TikTok for about a year now. I got interviewed by apparently they're quite big. I didn't even know they were the Register, I think it is. and it went next morning. I woke up, I was in 100 and I think it was 184 countries. I was all over the news. I had no idea that the people that come, I just thought were like regular guys just for a magazine, and turned out to be quite a big thing. So we managed to get the blue tick from that, basically. 5 on the screen, 7 now. Yeah, so it must be, yeah, basically dead at the minute. Then on TikTok, it's probably going to take a while to build back up. Now it's been unblocked. What am I working on? I'm just removing some components off Game Gears at the minute. So we've got a bunch of Game Gears, what we've used the ASICs from, like effectively what you could call the CPUs, these things. And these are the components that are useful. So this is a transformer. This little transformer is useful for PC Engine GTs, so we're robbing them. And the extension port connectors, because we don't make new ones. But I will be doing a PS2 Slim in a minute. We'll do a HDMI mod on a PS2 Slim. I'm just getting these out of the way first. So we've literally got one left, and then I'll be on the PS2. And the PS2 HDMIs are really bad for soldering at the minute. That's why I want to do one again. We did about 7 over Christmas, and they're absolute nightmare to get the HDMI to connect, and I think I know why. So I want to test that theory in a minute. But yeah, I had an absolute nightmare getting the HDMIs to solder well, basically. That one wanted to stick on a bit. Last one. Of course, he's in the shell. Just get this and probably zoom out a bit now. There we go. Oh yeah, you'll notice this one as well is now, for those that have joined after this, is now a Blackmagic camera, the side angle, so nice and sharp. I tried the angle as well. I tried putting this side camera the other side and just didn't look right. I thought it would be better with me being left-handed to have it from that side, but I think I'm just that used to this angle that I changed it back. Yeah, we're on the PS2 in a second. We've got we have it here to do the HDMI mod in a minute. I just want to strip this last Game Gear down. Oh, thanks for the sub, Matthew. We actually got I think we got 4 subs on Twitch yesterday, by the way, Big Bro. They just we had loads from nowhere, really. I think that's like the most we've had on any single stream for Twitch, because that's really hard to grow, I think. But I think we're getting there now. We're still at like only the well, to be honest, the 10 viewers we've got now is probably one of the most we get on Twitch. We tend to get sort of 5 to 10 viewers, and it just really struggles to grow it. But I think it's just persistence, isn't it, basically? And good cameras. These might help. What is that circuit board holder? It is a I keep forgetting what they're called. A Hacko. Anybody else remember what they're called? It's made by Hacko. I keep forgetting the name of them. Summit Vice, maybe. I want to say it's something Vice. Currently fixing 1000 series. Music CDs and games load perfectly, but in game the music from videos and backgrounds aren't. That might be no, it might actually be. It still might be the game. You want to. Which one's a good one? Because obviously you've got full motion video where it'll try and stream the videos, and if it can't stream quick enough, it prioritizes the video before the audio, and the audio will just go silent. So it might be that, but if you're saying everything else loads fine and there's no stuttering on the video, you should normally see stuttering. So yeah, it could be part of the CXD chip, but I'd double check first that you've definitely got no stuttering, and I suppose it'd only really happen on full motion video stuff. And without a donor board, you're going to struggle. Obviously, you can't replace dead chips. You'd pretty much. I've never seen them with trace damage, really. Not many with actual trace damage. So I'd say reflowing, flux, clean, and reflow, and that's really about it. Without a donor, to be honest, you're gonna struggle to get much further. If I had a spare board, I'd swap out the CD drive first, make sure if it's there, to isolate that, then the AV cable, then check like you could use a FreeMac boot and load off USB to remove that's the point. That'll bypass the CD drive and prove if it's the CD drive. Just get a memory card and FreeMac boot it. That's what I'd probably do. Any new tech for 2026? Yeah, tons. In terms of what we're making, or I've got a new clean screen coming out for the Game Gear. We've got loads of new RGB mods coming. So like all the clean RGB mods for loads of retro consoles. Yeah, that's it, the Omnivice. I need to try and remember that. The issue with this, no, we're just gutting this board, so I'm just nicking components of this. That's the Game Gear's done now. So we can jump on to what we were meant to be on, which was this PlayStation 2. So we're going to do a HDMI mod on this. Let me just move these components out of the way a minute. One of these is going to be hot. Right then, I've got to remember what to do on these. So there's this is a high-speedo HDMI mod, and this is for a customer. So this is going to have obviously one of many things. It's going to be the HDMI, but I just want to focus on that at the minute, and it's because whenever you do these, I find these ribbons do not solder. Like ridiculously hard to solder on, and they shouldn't be. So I'm gonna have a go at making this work easier. Now I can't remember, even though I've done tons of them, I can't remember the full guide, so let's pull up the guide. PS2 Spedido, and they normally just have the guides literally on like AliExpress on the sales page. Most people struggle to find the install guides. You'll find a lot of them if you just go to the actual place you'd buy them from, if you're getting them, say, from AliExpress, and the product page would just have the install guide within there, basically. So I'm just going to go description, yeah, and I've got the guide. PPU 18, what board have we got? We have why can't I see the number? You see the number of that? I'm just staring at that. Like PPU 18 or something. It's literally PPU, it'll be PU rather. PU 18.
I thought it was that little assembly.
Can't even find out what version I've got. Is this the original housing down here for it? Like the plastic?
No.
No.
This is it.
That's CPU. Oh, that's the 7. Wouldn't the power draw increase or something? The draw increase. What are we on about there? Can't see anything relative to that. I don't know whether your last message didn't go through, but I don't know what that question is, sorry. Wouldn't the power draw increase? You'd have to give me a bit more info on that. Yeah, this mod's pretty tricky if you haven't done soldering before, that's for sure. I wouldn't recommend this one until you've done some soldering. I'm just trying to find out what version board I've actually got. I mean, I don't know how much it matters, to be honest, because we're still going to attach to the same chip. We're always going to go to the main chip. Oh, what am I doing anyway? I'm on I'm looking at the PS1 guide for for the boards. I'm not used to doing the PS1s. I won't find it there. Right, here we go. Yeah, GH52. So, do we do PS4 repairs? Not anymore. We did GH37. We used to do the modern stuff, but we're that busy with the other stuff. We stopped doing like repairs on the modern things. We just do HDMI swaps, basically. Really, I don't think it's anything we plan on taking back up again either, really. Right, so GX32. Let me bring this over to my screen so I can see it easier. Right, so all we've got to do is go to the main CXD chip, which will be this one. And typically, rather this one it'll be. CXD chip this side. And we need to remove a few resistors and caps that get in the way, basically. So there, well, I'll get there in a minute. CXM, there we go. Wow, can tell I've had a break over Christmas. So we want to solder to this chip, the CXM, and this goes on this chip here over these pins. Now the problem you have, or the problem I've had when you do this, is if you align these up here like they should be, so you see left and right aligned, these pins are too far away from these the chip pins to solder. So you can place it here, you like remove these capacitors so it sits flush. And when you solder this down, whether it's certain revisions, and we had loads of them like that, or whether it's something else. Oh yeah, TikTok's banned us again. Been unbanned for one day. Haven't even shown the install guide or anything. That's crazy. TikTok is shit. So when you put these in line here on the ones we were doing, you just can't get the solder to bridge over, even though they look soldered. So what I plan to do is move this closer like this, reflow all these, and solder on, and then just bend this ribbon back maybe to solder these few pins on. So it'll be easier to bend these two ribbons back after this main one's on than having this main one struggle to solder because it's really, really poor for soldering on. So basically that's the thought, because I did loads of these over Christmas and literally I think we killed 2 PlayStations trying to do some of them, and all the others were I'd reflow them perfectly under the scope, like in position, and then they still wouldn't work, and they were just hairline not joined because I think this ribbon basically is the wrong size, so the gap between these two pads is too far away to solder correctly. So let's just remove the components we need to first. Which will be, 1 second, let me just get this, guys. back, guys. Right, so we've just got to remove these caps that get in the way. I forget which ones already. I've only just looked. 2 up the sides, 3 in the middle. So you remove these 3, and then these 2, and these 2, basically. And then this ribbon has them on, is the idea. So the ones on the ribbon here replace the ones you're taking off. And that's just so the ribbon can sit flat. Oh, this is on max airflow. Turn that down. Now let's just use this micro hot air station. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to get... I don't think there's any point streaming on TikTok, to be honest, at this point, because I've just got the account unbanned and then literally never said we're selling anything. And they've booted us again, so I just don't think it's worth the hassle. I think we'll just screw TikTok for now. Which begs the question, is there any point doing the vertical stream? I think it is, just for the... quite a lot of people watch on YouTube vertical shorts, to be honest, so we'll probably still keep the vertical, but I just don't think we're going to bother with TikTok. I might as well just scrap that idea altogether, to be honest. It just clearly doesn't work for lives. Managed to get the GoTech working externally on that Amiga, but internal still can't. Yeah, so I'd say it's definitely going to be the DF switch. One second, guys, I'll just remove this. I'll mute, but I'll carry on just removing these components anyway. I'm back, guys. Sorry for that. Right, and so we've removed them components, and we now need to solder this. Yeah, I just muted. I was on the phone. I keep getting a few phone calls I'm having to deal with at the minute, but that should be hopefully the last one. So this is the bit that is that fully zoomed in? Well, they are small pins. We can zoom in more like this. But the issue we have is basically I find that when you align this here and say you set it so that these are going to fit, so like this, for example, hitting this pin because they have to solder here, and then these land here, they look like they're going to be on, and maybe on this revision they would, but what I find is these tend to not flow onto these pins well, and it might be different revisions of these boards. But like I say, we did like 7 over Christmas, and every single one, bar one, was a nightmare. So instead of lining this up like this, I'm going to purposely line this up a lot closer, like over the pins like this. So all these pins are nicely over. And then once they're soldered, I can just bend this with tweezers to sort of pull it into position is the idea. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. So I might need to, I probably will need to use the microscope for this though. Because I really need to see what I'm doing. So I flood this. I'm just going to pre-tin these legs with solder. So I want some nice leaded solder on these pins to begin with. And that'll help the solder flow when we come to put the ribbon on. So right over all them pins, and this will just mix with the lead-free solder, that grey solder you can see there. So I just want to go over once more with a bit more, and I'm trying to basically mix in the lead into the lead-free solder, and see how it's now turning a little bit shinier. You ideally want it to be fully shiny. You'd have to mix quite a bit in to do that. So see how it's getting shinier now? The bit that's left ends up being shinier. That's the sign that there's more lead in there. And then we'll go under the microscope after this to solder these pins down. And hopefully this goes to plan, because like I say, this did not work well for us when we were doing it before. It was a real struggle to get these pins to go on, and they shouldn't be, because it's not like this is it's not exactly fine pitch soldering for me. I've done plenty of soldering like this, so it's nothing to do with the size of the pins. It's definitely something to do with the ribbon, and I'm pretty sure it's the ribbon position more than anything, and probably just the variance of PS2 boards. Good lead solder you can get in the UK is Solder King. We can't sell it to public because you can't sell leaded solder to non-professionals. There's people that do, and I think we actually used to as well, until I realised it's like heavily restricted and we shouldn't be doing that. But if you are a professional, you should be able to buy. You might even be able to approach Solder King directly and email them and ask them, but you'd have to prove your profession basically. Right, so let's now go under the microscope, and then I can see. So this is mainly so I can actually see what I'm doing, to get some depth perception as I'm soldering, because this is going to definitely need that. Right, so that's probably in focus for me. Yeah, not too bad for you either. Level for me, but twisted for you. There we go. So it's not quite as clear as the overhead cam for you guys, but I can actually see what I'm doing when I do this. So what shall we do? Try and pin it down first. So really I want to this board is also not. It's going to want to sit up because of that. Right. zoom it back up. There we go. So let's get this position in, and I want to have it so slightly overlapping these pins to be sure they're on. And the hardest bit will be the first, tacking it down first, because this wants to just move all over the place. So it's quite annoying to begin with until you get something tacked down, because everything just flaps around and catches. So I'm just going to try and hold it in and tack something on. There we go. So that's got plenty of solder on. So I'm just going to do that. So it's quite far in. But then at least we know. Now when I solder, this is going to be fine. So I've tacked that really, far up. So much so that you can actually see this pin is a full pin out. So this pin actually wants to be on this pin. But this is why I'm going to do it, because now this is one of the rare cases where I will use a thinner tip. I don't need to, but it actually makes this job a little bit easier. So I've got a micro chisel tip. And I always say you never need a small tip to do this. You can do it with a large tip. But I'm just going to show you with the small tip so we can do pin by pin soldering. This is like a baby chisel. See, it's not much smaller, it's still quite big, but should allow me to get solder on an almost pin for pin basis. So I can kind of reflow each pin one at a time. And I should be able to zoom right in so you can see the solder going on each pin. And because it's so close, you'll see that I can get a full ball of solder flowing up the leg here each time. So see how you get a nice ball there, a nice little fillet. This one doesn't have it yet, so you warm it up a bit more, and there's your fillet appearing. So that's what we're aiming for on every pin. That's the sign of a definite well soldered pin, and that's what you can't get if you don't move the ribbon closer to. You will not get this fillet because it just doesn't flow, which is, like I say, I think they really need to make this ribbon longer to allow for the proper soldering, because now these are soldering on nice and easy, but obviously the side pins now are bent out of position, which we shouldn't have to do. So this kind of confirms to me it was the ribbon, why we struggled over Christmas doing these, because they're obviously not quite long enough, whereas if you nudge them up so they sit over the pins, you'll get nice solder balls like this, nice and easy. And then once I was confident with this, now I know it's in the right position, the next ones I'd normally just drag solder this all the way down, and I wouldn't do pin for pin soldering. I'd just drag solder all the way down. So hey, welcome in. Afternoon, yeah, it is already 12:30. I was planning on coming on stream at like 6 this morning, but the boiler decided to break on me as well. So I spent 2 hours in the freezing snow defrosting the condensate pipe outside with a blowtorch, and then I had to strip the boiler down and drain the frigging the sump inside that backfilled with water. So I couldn't have a shower because we had no water, and I spent like 2 hours fixing my boiler instead of doing a live stream. That gave me a headache, and then I've had to catch up with work as well. So I'm back on though now, but yeah, already afternoon. Right, let's see if I can get this one on now. So this is a bit more of a awkward position here. It's right on the edge of my desk. Let's move it back in a bit. That's the hardest thing with this microscope when you're zooming a lot, is you don't have much working distance. So now what we've got to do, you can see that pin there. Put my iron down a minute. We've now got to bend this ribbon and move it down to this pin here, because, wow, the depth of field on this microscope's tiny. Because we've moved the ribbon so it fits better on them, we've got to kind of force this down, and these are not gripping these tweezers. So we've almost got to kind of push this down, which is going to be a lot harder than I thought it would be, actually. This does not want to move down. So, can we get it down like this? I thought this would flex quite easy, but I think because we have that cap right there, it's making this not want to flex. There we go. So we will be able to get it. It's just going to be, we're probably going to have to solder this on. I reckon, like holding that in position. Just blob a load of solder on. Ignore shorting pins out for now. Let's just try and get this thing tacked on. Alright, that's held down. Now we can put some flux on here, redo them pins. And you can see these, how these side ones are also slightly further away than the pins. So look how they don't want to ball up like the other ones, because obviously from the side you're going to have the same issue from the side as the front. If you can't move them in, they won't flow as nice. So this is what happens when they're not quite over the pin. It's a lot harder to get that ball of solder on. So it's all about having the ribbon in the right place with these, and I do think we need to redesign this ribbon slightly because it's definitely not quite in the right position. So now we've got those on, we should be able to get the last one on. And there we go. So even though it makes the side pins a bit more difficult, it makes the entire row of other pins that we've just done easy to solder. But see how even these don't want to go on. So they look connected, but they definitely don't want to flow on because they're just that little bit far away from the pad. So you kind of can't trust them. But at least if these don't work, you're dealing with just a few pins and not a massive row of other pins. So let's move that out for now. We've got the other side to do as well, but let me just catch up on the chat a second. Now we've done some of them, and then we've got to do these the same, pull them down and solder them. But all these main ones now, which are the ones that can cause you a headache and are mostly the RGB pins, are definitely on well, which is what you want. So let me just have a look at these. Is there a downside to solder on top of the pin? Not really, no. The way it's flown here, we've only done that because the ribbon's not the right shape and long enough. So the solder's going to attach and flow. As long as you've got flux, you won't get bridges underneath. Versus if you're away from the pin, then you're going to potentially get bridges underneath as well. Oh yeah. There's I think there's weather we're just not designed for. We've had the truck wouldn't start yesterday, so drained the battery, had to jump start it from another truck, and took 40 minutes to get going. Managed to get it going this morning, then the boiler broke. It's like the slightest bit of cold, and we're just not designed for it in the UK at all. Everything falls to bits. Welcome in, Mark. We're just doing a let's pull this up. We're just doing a PS2 Slim HDMI. Mainly, I'm just proving that this ribbon isn't really the right length, and that's what's causing the headaches with soldering, which we've pretty much just proven by, oh yeah, that's all we zoomed in max already. We've proven by soldering this side a lot closer to the pins, and they've flown nice and easy. And then this side that's still further away is a lot harder to solder. So we've definitely got, well, there definitely is these ribbons. I need to ask Kais Fedido to update them and make them longer pins because they're not close enough to the actual chip, so they never flow like they should, and it makes it very difficult to solder. So now I just need to get the scope and finish off this last side, and then we can be fairly confident then on this one that the soldering's okay. So let me see if I can get these last ones in, but we are going to have to bend this ribbon in as well, so it's a little bit difficult because of that, but it's not so bad because there's only a few pins. So we'll have to grab this. This one's more flexible as well, so this one's a bit easier to maneuver. What I might do is make this actually close to the pins as well, so it goes on properly. So actually position it where it should be, which is like here. There we go. And then, even though we're slightly slanted there, we'll be fine. Now get the... We should be able to get the ball of solder on these. Maybe that wants to be a bit flatter. There we go. And that's it. So you can see all them now are balled up nicely. You've got the fillets on them. The slight imperfection in the shape is just because obviously we've manually moved this into position and kind of bent the pins, but that's all definitely soldered on where we want it. So now if we checked that out, probably clean this up first. Favourite for working on? In terms of repair, is there any fun repair ones? There's some things repair-wise that are pretty much you can't do much with, or they always die in a certain way. Like SNESes are pretty much always just chip swapping. There's very rarely a case where a SNES isn't just a chip swap. So you don't really repair as such. Game Gear, I don't mind diagnosing because I've pretty much done them to death, so I know where to look. So I suppose fun ones, it all depends. It's if I'm in the mood for diagnosing and repairing properly, because obviously you're normally figuring something out you don't know yet, and you're learning something new. So if you've got the time, you can enjoy it. If you're busy and backlogged, the last thing you want to do is work on something you don't know. So it really depends on frame of mind, I guess, what I'd prefer working on at what point in time. Yeah, this is a High-Speedo PS2 Slim. They work great, other than the fact these ribbons are definitely awful. They do work good. They got an on-screen menu as well, and we've not really had any issues with them. But I was really struggling to solder these ribbons on. They looked like they soldered, but they obviously didn't. But now moving it like that shows that it really is just the ribbon. It's not necessarily the solder or the technique. It's just the position of the ribbon isn't close enough to them pins. So it's now, that's definitely on. Yeah, all good. So we should be good. This, in theory, if it's all right then, this should just work. Lost weight over Christmas? Yeah, not much. Probably a couple of pounds over Christmas. Slowed down a lot for the last month. Plus Christmas, I've been eating Christmas cake and chocolates and everything, so that doesn't help either. For the ribbons, I'll try and get High-Speedo to just fix it. I've worked with them for years. And I've got a guy on WeChat to talk to. I think it's... Is it Andy? Yeah, I think Andy. Andy. All his English name for talking to Westerners. Right, we need these 3 wires. So I'll message him and I'll show him the screenshots on this stream as well for what to look out for and why I think the ribbon needs to be shortened, because they don't normally like to adjust the mods now. Now they're a bit bigger, and you know, when I worked with them before and didn't have many sales and things, they were quite happy to just modify stuff, but now they're quite established and they're quite happy with what they're doing. Telling them to change a product that's going out to hundreds of people, they'll be a little bit less inclined to do it. But I think if you show them the clear fact that the ribbons aren't quite the right shape, they should fix it, obviously. Yeah, thanks. It's I think I needed to as well with having this giant cam like this now. I'm like, yeah, you can't get away with fat face anymore. Oh, I've also got some. Might have missed it on one of the streams. Got a new tool now. Wire stripper. And where did I put the wire? That's a question. Yeah, I've got my wire strips. I've lost the wire. So I said I was going to start using this and some solid core wire, which I have definitely lost. Where would I have put it? Right there in this tub. So I've just got some sample wire. This is the thinnest solid core, like single core wire I could find, but with a thick sleeve, mainly so that when we come to use the wire strippers, we can strip this wire without damaging it, basically. So if this is still set up as I last had it, I can just put that in. The blade is here. This little cutty bit here is where it cuts the wire. So we go past it by like that much. You can see there, strips it perfect without nicking the wire, which is the key. It can't nick that wire, otherwise they fracture. Yeah, the Amiga. I still haven't listened to your voicemails, by the way, from the other day. I haven't jumped on yet. So I'll listen to them and then we can go over that Amiga, see where you're up to with it. Right, I need to find out where these are going, actually. WS clock and data. I think they go to this chip here. Let me just pull up the guide. Data clock WS. So got a close up of the chip. It's this one up here. So top pin going down, right? So in order, basically, dat clock WS is dat clock WS. So we'll solder onto that. PS1 mode doesn't seem to work on these kits. I see quite a few people mention that, and they have done for us. Again, you have to be careful of old news or fake news a lot of the time, because what will happen is there'll be competition that try to sell you different mods, and they'll just basically tell lies about kits and say they don't do a certain thing. Like the N64 one, for example, they definitely do, and people were adamant that they didn't. So I spoke to Andy, the guy that makes them, and he said his engineers absolutely guarantee they do, and to show us a video of them not working. So when I did that, you could see they do actually work. So I can't say that for the PS1 yet, but I've never seen any issues with it. But it's a lot of people don't even necessarily understand the deinterlacing and if games support it and how it should look and things. So I'd say test for yourself first before you believe. If people just say something doesn't work, definitely test it for yourself. I'm not saying it won't. You might find it does, but don't just presume because you've read something or somebody else has told you they don't that that's actually true, because a lot of the time you'll find it's just fake news. What temp you soldering with the iron these days? 380 has been my iron pretty much all along and still is, so I don't think I ever really changed my soldering iron temps. Hot air, I've gone back to, well, I go to 480 when I'm removing stuff, but I'm on 400 for reflowing chips, so I've lowered it from 480 to 400 and don't necessarily find the need yet to go back up to 480, but for doing like recaps and stuff, then I still do 480. Like anything that isn't an IC, I'll do the 480, and on ICs I've dropped it to 400. Basically, it's like the new standards at the minute. The micro is at 400, just because that all depends on the size of this tip. So this is I don't even know what size this is. Just got a battery in or not? Yeah, so this is a 3mm nozzle. So this is like 3.3. So the opening will be 3mm, but what we found is as soon as I brought this and I put too much hot air through the small nozzle, it destroyed the nozzle. So if you go a wider nozzle, you can obviously go hotter, but 400 on the micro. And it struggled, you saw it struggled a little bit on some of these caps where it had the thermal ground on one side. So obviously that's the limit of having a micro iron. It still got it off, but it just struggles if there's stuff with a thermal pad, basically. Then I should be able to strip this wire without holding it. Blow. Probably should have done these wires the other way, like from up, down, up, so I can actually get in the gap, but we'll manage. Legend of Zelda map, yeah, just looks like it. Oh, that's slanted. You can tell I'm not used to using a thick single core wire yet, that's for sure. There we go. Still playing the Pokemon Emerald. I haven't actually been on it I nearly went on it the other day. I probably haven't been on it since we broke up for Christmas. I did. Where did I get to? The thing is, you find is if you haven't played a Pokemon, like I played Pokemon Yellow as a kid and stuff, I never played Emerald. So if you've not played them before and then you leave it, I find when you come back a few weeks later, you forget where you're even at and what the goal was, and there seems to be quite a lot of possible ways you can go. in Emerald. At the minute, I'm in roughly centre of the map at the minute, where you get to the town where you can go up, down, left, or right. Like, you've literally got all four ways you can go. So I've been eliminating which ways I can actually get, and then going all the way back to the centre and trying to find out which ways are actually blocked, so that I don't forget to go back. But yeah, still playing it, just haven't actually had much time at the minute. I'll probably go on it tonight, now you've reminded me. Right, so I think, I could be wrong, but I think all these pins on here are just for the controller port. So I don't think we need them for now, just to test HDMI. 1, 2, 3, yeah, they all go down to the controller port. So I'm going to say almost definitely that's just controller. It'll be audio as well. I think D0 and 1 are probably audio. So let's ignore them for now for testing. We don't really need to have audio or controller to see if this works. Oh, and yeah, much worse than that as well as the Resident Evil. With all Resident Evil games, the old and the new, as soon as you haven't been on that for a few days, you literally forgot what you were doing. I haven't even been on the remake either for similar. Probably haven't been on that for 2 weeks. Install two of these myself. To clarify, I mean when you put PS1 discs in the PS2. So you're saying if we play a PlayStation 1 game in this PlayStation 2, the de-interlacing fails. If so, if you have any issues like that as well, you can just let Highspeedo know. Or if you let me know, I can just send them a message and show them. And you can just update the code. So they've done a ton of mods now. They've done desktops and handhelds and that. So I can guarantee you they'll be perfectly capable of making them work, even if they don't at the minute. And it could also be a limit to the console. You might find that it's not necessarily this kit that doesn't work, that it's just if the PlayStation doesn't de-interlace or give you signals, it might be something like that. But if it's possible to do, they'll be able to do it, no problem. Oh yeah, we still need to bring Rusty in on the big new face cam, on the super clear one. I'll go find him in a minute. Right, so we've got a power supply. We need just a HDMI cable now, so should be able to just nick this one. If this still works. Bring up HDMI, is it maybe? That one. And that into there. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I think this is all we need to do. That into there. Turn on. Is that it, maybe? I feel like it's not. And in classic fashion, we're getting nothing on there either. So let me just, oh, hang on, there's a switch down here installed. There we go, that sends it to the PC. So maybe that'll work. I also might need to toggle the HDMI capture on and off. Let me just disable it and enable it. And if we still get nothing, then yeah, still get nothing on that. I know actually some of these capture things might not work. This is the other thing to it. So what can we do to confirm that? We need, actually, that's the point. Plug that back in, and I can send it to my screen. You guys won't see this, but let me just see. Oh, it's gone back to the TV anyway. Let me see if it's showing on this TV. HDMI 1. No, black screen, I think. Try a full power cycle. No, so this is still nothing. This is the issue I had, you see, with installing them. They happen so much. Now, I don't think we need them data, so I'm going to put them data-wise on just to be sure. But this is basically the issue. I have with them that the soldering's fine. The ribbon we know is normally a problem, but even then, you can find that sometimes these boards are bad and you just swap them out and they work. And other times, it's nearly always a ribbon issue. But I just find that they seem to be very inconsistent as the only issue with them. The remake I've been playing at the minute's the Resident Evil 2. It'll be on my Steam library. Let me just see. It's just called Resident Evil 2. It's going to be that one. So just this one. Last played 1st of December. I haven't played that for. I thought I'd played it about 2 weeks ago. It's about 6 weeks ago. You can see I own them all though. Played Village a little bit. You'll laugh at these though because I looked at all the games I buy and I probably never played 99% of them. Never played. 2 hours, 9 hours, did a good one on that. 3 hours, never played. I just like buy the games and so I've got them. Of course, we've got Jurassic, that'll definitely be played. Done 3.5 on that, so I'm halfway through that. But yeah, the Resis, I've done, I've completed that one, I think. The Resident Evil 0. It was good, but wasn't a massive fan. Resident Evil 2 was, like, I'm loving that one at the minute. But it's a lot harder, I find, a hell of a lot harder than Resident Evil 2, the original. Whether I'm just not that good at it at the minute, but I do find it, like, quite hard. Running out of ammo and always on the brink of dying more so than normal. Alright, so let's get these last few wires on just in case for some reason it needs them. I don't know whether it does, and I wouldn't have thought it did. So we've got that. D1 is green going to this one. First pin there. Demo of RE4 remake. Yeah, the one I did on I had a Meta Quest for a short time. Played that Resident Evil 4. Is it Resident Evil 4 VR? That was well good, but I'm just gonna wait for like the what's it called? The frame, is it? Valve. Can't remember what it's called. The new Steam Valve thing coming out. I'm going to wait to play it on that because it's a bit hard to play. I think the Meta Quest is a bit big and heavy still for gaming on myself. The one thing I like about the 2 remake though is it Tyrant in 2? I always forget the name. It's Nemesis in 3, or is it Mr. X? Either way, boss in 2. Obviously smashing through all the walls, chasing you around when you. Oh, wicked! That's ripped a pad off. That's this is why I don't normally use the solid core wires. It's actually ripped the pad clean off the ribbon. Nice. So, I mean, it shouldn't do, but obviously it already has, with barely any movement. So I'll I'll do some grinding and soldering on that in a second. I think we'll solder it to the PlayStation side first before attaching it down to the other. Clock is 3 gaps and then 1 more. Must admit though, stripping the wire is a lot quicker when it's using the solid core with insulation on. It's just obviously the wire's a lot tougher, so it's like, for example, that would never happen with enamel wire ripping a pad on a ribbon pretty much ever. One, two, three. We seem to be missing one wire still. One goes up to that. I bet the oh, I know what we're missing anyway. We never installed the 3.3 volt, so that's why the HDMI won't work. We don't have the 3.3 soldered, so we could solder him first before soldering these other wires, just to prove if it works without them wires. I think that's what we'll do, and we'll just solder in. But you can see this pad's come clean off, so we'll just scrape to there and solder to there in a second. But yeah, the 3.3 volt I'm almost guaranteed is going to be needed. Otherwise, the mod's got no power unless it pulls it from here. It might pull it from here, but the fact it's there separate, I'd say it's literally pulling power from there. So that's solder to under here, of course. 3.3 volt, so it'll be on this cap we can tack to. Turn this around. What mods we're doing? We're just doing the HDMI mod for the PS2 Slim. So this should work then with just that added. Hopefully it does. And then we can just attach the other wires after. Let's see if this now works. So we've got the other wires ready to go on that connector, but we're not going to use them for now. HDMI again. Oh yeah, the Rusty's literally after every single morning now. After as soon as that coffee machine goes on, he comes for his milk. He's expecting it literally every single day now. Right then, so let's see if HDMI over. Oh, do we actually get power now? We might have to swap it to input to this capture card. There we go. Oh, we got audio as well. So that does. Oh, in C, see the colours are off. This is the problem you get with the ribbon. That's exactly what we get. So those colours being off is again this ribbon. Normally you'll find this ribbon, you'll flex it or touch on it and those colours change. Or sometimes it's these boards. But this is again one of the issues you'll find, and then you reflow the ribbon and things happen. It's definitely just either the mods are a bit shite or the ribbons, but it's one of them. The soldering's what it is. You do it on any other mod and it's never a problem. This one always seems to be just always a problem. You can do it as many times as you want, as slow and as clean as you want, and you either just get no HDMI or dodgy colours. So let's just replug it in. See, I'm replugging it. This hasn't detected when we've unplugged and replugged the HDMI. It's just lost HDMI. So is that because of the switch maybe though? Yeah, the switch is moving backwards. So let me put it on the main TV instead of through the capture card a second, and let me see what my TV shows. Yeah, exactly the same, like missing colours and just not right. So let's try another board. But yeah, I get this issue, like I say, with these more times than we should. In terms of the problem of it, I'm not 100% sure because you'd think it was ribbon, but we've done the ribbon on this one nice and clean. I've even moved it into position to make sure it's solid. I've done the last one I did, I literally I belled out every pin from here all the way up to the final source pins outside of the ribbon right the way to chips. Took ages to do, confirmed absolutely every pin was valid, and it was still faulty, and then it turned out to be the board. But this is brand new, straight out the box. Sometimes yes, it's the ribbon, but sometimes it definitely isn't. So it's like, what do you do basically? These seem to be quite dodgy, so let's just swap this out. I don't know if anybody else has had like this many issues with them, but the PS2 ones always seem to have this issue, and I just presumed it was, like I say, the ribbon soldering and stuff, but it doesn't seem to be necessarily the ribbon soldering. No, same kind of thing. Yeah, so we can have a look at the ribbon, but we'll see. So let's have a look under the scope. Right, so they are solid, nothing between them. So they're all 100% okay. Zoom out for you there. Wow, this is quite shaky. There we go. But those are absolutely solid, installed perfectly fine. And you can see nothing all wrong with them. We can go down here and let me zoom in. And there we go. Crazy shallow depth of field, but yep. No, they are absolutely perfectly fine. No shorts, no bridges. None that I can see. But what I find on these is that even when they're soldered here, sometimes it breaks here, fractures. Now, we haven't even moved this ribbon or messed with it. This has gone down very clean and easy. But you can find these break here. I just think, honestly, these ribbons are shocking. I've got a feeling it's still going to be the ribbon, even though it's solid and soldered well. This one you can see, soldered. This potentially doesn't look soldered, but it will be. I can reflow that just to get the ball underneath, but I can almost guarantee you that one there will be soldered. Let me just reflow him anyway, just for the sake. Let's try and get that that ball to appear so you can kind of see it flow to the pin. That's a bit too much solder. Probably should use some flux now. I've made a complete mess of this as well. Let's off that one I'm in. That's a ball of solder. That is. Let's get that off now. Probably have to drag him all the way over to get him out of the way. Right, he's out of the way, minute we'll clear him up after. Right, so he's good. He's good. He's good. Out my way. There we go. Yep, so all of them now are ball solders, so you can't even see. All of them have now got full circle balls, so you know they're on for sure. And now I've just reintroduced this. These little balls here, these weren't here. It's just when I've been reflowing just a second. So these weren't here. This wouldn't be an issue. I've just literally, like I say, added them by just adding the extra solder on. So no, all the ribbon is absolutely solid. No issues on it. We can retry now with that one pin that was potentially not on, even though it looks it. But like I said, I've done this so many times over Christmas, and never sorted this. Like, never got to the bottom of it. It's been the boards sometimes, the ribbons most of the time, even though they're perfectly fine. They must just either hairline fracture or just not be right, or maybe a bad batch. I don't know. This is all still part of a batch of about 20 I brought. But I'll get back to them now. I've done enough of them and see what they reckon and see what they think of the potential cause. But I have done this where I know for a fact the ribbon's been on like this. The ribbon's completely perfect. It's never flexed anywhere. And look, it's still not right on the visual. And this happens, like I say, a lot more than just one. This isn't one off. This has happened. Out of the 7 we built, we probably had this out of 5. And we just had to keep replacing them and replacing them and replacing them, and they worked. So I wouldn't put it past the fact that, I mean, you can normally tell if it's the ribbon because touching it and moving the ribbon will make that flicker, and it doesn't. So, yeah, I'm still not 100% sure what's causing this on the PS2 Slims. It looks to me like it's missing some of the data, like some of the red, green and blue values are missing, is what it looks like to me. But, no, we've got, I can get another one out, see if we can find boards that work. Right, so we've got another 3 in stock still. Let's try all 3 and see if we find any that work. If not, then you're down to maybe the actual PlayStation revisions it doesn't like, or something. There's got to be some issue that it just doesn't like on these. But we'll see. And again, we could connect all these controller things, but I don't think it's going to be that. We probably should maybe do that just to rule that out. I'd be surprised if the controller pins mess up the video out. That would be a strange thing to do. So the fact we've done 3 already, I can't see there being 3 in a row. The boards being bad, so let's just connect up them. Connect up them wires to the front. Let's get that on, so everything's technically installed. But like I said, I don't think that's going to affect. I can't see it affecting the video output side of things. That's all I'm on, and now we just need to do the torn trace on here. Probably zoom in. We can just grind. I reckon we can grind that away and just attach straight to there, I reckon. This grinder is not working. Let's use scalpel instead. Let me just go into the scope. It's actually eating under the under to the other trace and not getting the trace on top. Got a little bit of copper exposed there. So we should have enough to tack this on, just enough for testing. There's the pad we don't need. So that's going to be on. Not that you guys can really see that because I'm not zoomed in, but that'll be on that pad. No, it won't. Not quite. Probably have to use enamel wire. And there we go. That's on. Or is it going to rip? Yeah, that's not going to stick on there. Gonna have to go to enamel wire. Right, so we'll be able to tack enamel straight onto there, or considering we're going to do enamel wire, do we just follow where this goes back, to be honest now? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way down. Yeah, sod it now, we'll go to this wire, it's miles away. It's all the way to the other end of the ribbon, obviously. Let's get some good old enamel wire. Strip the end. Find out where it goes on here. And we will just blob some enamel wire. And that's the, so like I say, the benefit of enamel wire is it isn't going anywhere. It's not going to tear traces. You can tack it down to small pads, he says. So like that, that's now tacked on that trace. The only thing is, this trace here is slightly exposed, the other side, so I want to just move him maybe out the way, like there. Okay, now I can't get him to tack back out. I'd have to expose a bit more. This is not got enough to tack onto. Yeah, there we go. One last wire's taking its time. Trim him nice and short. I just want it just exposed enough so I can get a nice blob on. And to be honest, you probably don't need the microscope's not exactly the easiest for you guys to see because it's such a shallow depth of field, but still not on enough. There we go, rock solid. That was a pain. Right, let's cut this off. Knock the other wire, and this is only a temporary. I can secure this better or go straight back to the ribbon if this proves to be any of the issue, but I don't think these pins are anything to do with the issue we've got. So it's just now attach that wire to that one. So now we've got all of them on, although one's delicate and floating in the air, it is on. We've tried 3 or 4 different boards, so it's not going to be the boards. The ribbon, kind of seen the ribbon, we've checked it, and I've done this like it's not like the first time I've done this. I've done these mods all over Christmas, and this is pretty much the exact issue you get every time, is this there's just colour, and it's almost always that it's that kind of colour as well. Thinking about it, it's not like it's a random issue. It's like this is almost exactly what happens every time. Thinking about it, this kind of reduced colour space on the HDMI. So that's what's making me think it's probably more a compatibility issue or a PAL issue or something else going on. If this works, I'll probably just take this wire off. That's too fragile there. I could UV it down, but I'll probably just get rid of that. Go to this ribbon or even this board where it goes to D0, trace it back up to here and either attach a wire to this pin here or follow this all the way to source. But it doesn't look like there's many test pads, to be honest, so we could. I mean, that is a solid connection there. I could UV cure that, clear it all up, UV cure it, and then do it properly after. But we'll see first, because if this doesn't work, we might have to consider an alternative HDMI mod for the PS2, because we're just encountering this exact issue too many times. So the fact you've kind of seen it here as well, and you can see me soldering, so you could let me know if you think that ribbon wasn't on. We haven't done any kind of bends or damage to the ribbon, other than ripping that D-pad just, which was there before we even did the controller port. So again, don't think it's in any way related. I just think this is, I think it's almost something else wrong. Like I say, I think it's a UK board issue, a Japanese board issue, a revision issue. I think there's definitely something going on there. Look exactly the same, weird colours for no reason. So I don't really know there. I don't think it's soldering related. I honestly don't know what it is in terms of the problem. And I've done this before where we've had this, like I say, and I've refit 4 ribbons onto like the same console and it never worked. And then you get a different console and then it works, but then your next one doesn't. So that's what's making me think it's more so, there's more so a problem with these boards, something that isn't the soldering. I know the soldering can be tricky for people, but that's definitely not the, well, I can always say definitely, but I've done it so many times that if it was soldering, I wouldn't make the same mistake over and over, if you know what I mean. So let's just see if I'm missing anything as well on the guide. Remove all them, remove them. Flex ribbons on. That's on there. Them pins are all on. They're all wired up correct. Trim the case, remove the modem. Yeah, there's no issue here. Like looking at the guide, I can't see any issue. There's that many variants as well. I'm just seeing if I can find maybe the exact variant to be sure they don't do something special on a certain revision. Yeah, funnily enough, Clean HDMI has been on the list for a good while. I was 90% of the way there over a year ago. Basically generating the RGB signals and then converting RGB to HDMI. That is pretty much how the Clean HDMI would work. I've got prototypes in a tub right by me that the only reason I didn't finish it is because I needed to generate which way around it? I needed to split C-Sync into H-Sync and V-Sync and couldn't be bothered. So I didn't finish the project, basically. But I'm sure I'll do one soon. At some point this year, I reckon I'll probably do a HDMI mod. That isn't that right. That's right. I'm just scrolling through looking for all the revisions to check I haven't got a certain revision that needs something special doing to it or wired different. But so far, all of these are every single version is installed basically the same. I haven't found any that need any special attention yet. Yeah, it's not that one. Wow, there's so many revisions of them. Yeah, there's nothing, there's no difference that is installed correctly. So let's go back up to the menu options. Let's see what we can do with the menu. I doubt that's going to fix it, but let's see. Menu is select X and 0, I think it was, wasn't it? Select X and 0. Yeah, and this is the exact thing we had, you see. I don't think this controller even works. Probably that dodgy ripped pad. Or it could be this third-party controller. But yeah, this is the exact visual I got before, where you have this purple going into there. Exactly, this is how it looked on multiple ones I've done. So I think this issue here, exactly as it looks, isn't anything to do with the ribbons, or the ribbons always break in the same spot. So the other thing you can do is kind of, this is one thing I do as a last resort, just to try and see, is I'll bring up the overlay like this, and you can kind of probe on the pins, like, well, probably with the dental pick. You can kind of push on here to see if you see any visual change, but we know we've soldered these good. That's the thing, we've looked under the scope, and I've had this exact visual before, so that's why I'm pretty confident it's not going to be one of the pins in this case. Yeah, so nothing there. See, in this one, that's just me, I think, shorting 2 pins together, causing that flicker. See, if I short them 2 pins, you get that overlay. So that's not a bad connection. That was just me shorting 2 pins by mistake. Oh, and that was probably a power and ground. Yeah, so nothing at all on there. Let's have a look in the menu. I think I did the changing the output mode before. I'm sure it changed nothing. We can try. And then maybe power cycle, do you have to for that? But I think it's meant to be set to that anyway, isn't it? It's meant to be set to that mode. Yep, no different. Turn back on. And then I'll probably have to cycle this back to the input. Yeah, so it doesn't change anything. So like I say, it's not like this is exactly what I've seen a lot of the time. Like this, it's not like a random glitch, it's this exact visual, purple. The main thing is you go to this menu and you see this purple overlay. That's what I've seen so many times. So that's the exact corruption you see. And then obviously, there's nothing to do with them. And spray the port, which would normally show up any loose connections. You can wiggle the port. You can see it's all rock solid. So yeah, that's where we're at with them. I honestly don't know whether we've got. I think they just don't work with many revisions of PS2 Slim, because when we have them on here, they never seem to work. You just end up getting another console and doing it on another one, and then it works. So I think we are going to have to definitely look at getting another mod in, potentially, because we can't have this one. We have to make them, and they never work. The only thing I can try is bypassing this switch, maybe, which, again, I wasn't using this switch before, but let's just bypass. Bypass this HDMI switch altogether and go straight to here. And then no difference. That's bypassing the switch and just the same. So yeah, pass. Don't know on these basically. So I think we will. Also, I'm gonna remove this for now. Let's move straight into there. And this one can go into there. So I think what I'll do is I'll leave this one fully built up like this. I'll probably reach out to High Speedido as well, show them this video, show them where we're at, and that we've had this many times, so it's not like it's, you know, if it was the one-off, you'd suspect maybe soldering or a board or, you know, a glitchy console. But I've had this now in the last, what, four or 5 weeks. We've had this like 6 times now, and it's the exact same problem. It's not a random visual, it's that exact visual, that completely corrupt HDMI output. We've tried it on multiple TVs. I've tried it on this TV, the capture card, passing through a switch, not passing through a switch. So again, eliminating all of the standard possible problems, and we're still seeing that exact problem on these boards. And I'll see if they know anything. If you guys find anything out, then definitely let me know, and we can try something. But for now, I'm going to leave this to one side, and we're probably going to have to, like I say, start thinking about a different PS2 mod if they can't figure it out or give us a solution, because something isn't right there. I could figure it all out, yeah. I could scope it myself, but shouldn't be our problem really. This is an existing mod, and it should work, and it just doesn't. So hopefully High Speedido can give us advice, but I can almost guarantee what they'll say is your soldering's bad, check your ribbon cable, the normal stuff they'd expect it to be, but that ribbon is not the problem. Like we've seen it. You can zoom right in and inspect it, and you can probe it. And I've done this before. Like I say, I've physically probed right on the chip leg, going all the way over to these pins to make sure they physically make it back to this chip and these pins, and found that every single pin is okay on one that had the exact same issue. So I don't think it's necessarily a ribbon. I think it's literally a fault in, I think the software, simple as that. I think the software's got some kind of glitch on it that maybe they can fix. So yeah, that's I think that's where we're at with this. No need to reflow the board because we've tried that many boards. Tried now 5 boards brand new, and all of them act the same. I could try one more ribbon, but like I said, I've done it that many times. We've got more boards than we've got ribbons, and it didn't change anything. I've reinstalled one, and it was exactly the same. The only thing I could do is this could be a good thing or a bad thing or an indifferent thing, but I actually get this thing out. I have one for a PS2 Fat, which has got a different ribbon, but I'm wondering whether, is this just identical in terms of the code? I bet it is. And I reckon this board is going to be the same board, expecting the exact same signals. So let's try, because the way I'm thinking of this is from a different batch when I purchased from them. So let's just see if this completely different batch of boards acts any different. Or it may not work. I don't know whether this should work or not, because obviously this is technically for a PS2 Fat apparently, but I highly doubt they've got 2 code bases. They could do, but I doubt it. So we'll go to HDMI, turn on, and I presume this is going to work, and boot up. Yeah, there you go, and same glitch. So there's no way it can't be board related. That's now 6 boards, 2 different batches. It's not cable related. I've tried 2 different HDMI cables. It's not receiver related. I've tried 3 different screens. And like I say, it could be ribbon that they just constantly fracture, but I've had this issue on the consoles before Christmas with exactly the same visual, that purple colour screen. So I honestly think they've got a software issue where they don't work or they don't detect the right mode. So we'll see. We'll leave that one where it's at, and see what they say. Hopefully they've got some idea. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. So that'll be it for this one. Time me on 1 o'clock, sub only stream probably at 4:30 if I get the time, and we'll do the Game Boy. We'll carry on making the Game Boy original. PCB. The one thing I'm wondering is why didn't the on-screen menu work either? But that could be this dodgy. The on-screen menu might not work because that pad that ripped for the controller. So, oh yeah, that's why the on-screen menu didn't work. This thing's floating in midair. Maybe we'll just get the on-screen menu up and running just to see if we can change modes, but I don't think it's going to change anything. Let's just do that anyway, just for the sake. It's the last thing. The high-speed dealer mods, to be honest, other than this one, we haven't really had any issues with any of them. But yeah, PS2 Slim definitely an unknown issue at the minute that we've encountered many times, not just once. That's that one. Let's go all the way back to wherever it goes. Thanks for the sub. Luke, same name as me. I'll have to get you a discount. 4 PS1s to do here. So, but yeah, the PS1s we've done. I don't think we've had any issues with the PS1s, so you shouldn't have a problem. It's just these PS2 Slims. I've got a PS2 Fat as well down there. I could technically mod with the Fat version, but might be worth doing at some point. Right, so I need to find out which pin this goes to. So let's just trace it on here, I guess. So the wire is this one here. So third one down. So it's going to follow the mains, the big fat 3.3 all the way down, and then it's the third one after that. So it should be fairly easy to trace. We pull this in. So it's going to come all the way down here in a straight line. Third one of these. We get down to the edge here. So third one, 1, 2, 3. So it should be this pin right here, which you can't see on the vertical. But third pin over. So this one here. So we need to count them pins. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 16 pins over when it connects in here. So we need to attach it to 16 pins over from here. And then we know we're good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I just knocked it just as I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That one. So he's on rock solid if he's on the 16th pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so he's on the 16th pin. Let's now see if we've got the on-screen menu. This one over. Yeah, the fat ones. We don't work on them for that reason. Just opening them up, the ribbons tend to break on the actual console itself. Right, so that's that definitely on. Select, circle and X. And interestingly, no menu. So maybe that's another hint of a problem. Unless, like I say, this controller doesn't work. Does this one work on PS2? Yeah, well, we haven't got menu either. Like PS1. Yeah, so the on-screen menu doesn't work even though they're connected. So that might be a hint at one of the problems, potentially. Unless just the, yeah, it is meant to be select, X and circle, sure of it. So that's a good hint at a possible problem. Yeah, press select X and circle for 1 second. So yeah, we definitely don't have menu either. Yep, and I've seen this menu before, so there's definitely problems with this. Double check these pins. I don't think, like I said, this would solve the visual issue anyway, it's just more of a hint at something else. Right, so we have that chip up there. The only thing I didn't check is orientation. Dot. The dots up there. I found the exact version of board as well on the guide. The tapping off a 3.3 from a different place. That's on the right place. But, oh no, it isn't the exact version I thought it was. No, but the 3.3 has got to be right because we've obviously got we've got power and output, so it can't be that. Data. So. And I think this is the audio anyway. I think, pretty sure these pins here are the audio hookup. So I think if they were wrong, we wouldn't get audio anyway. That's what I think they are. I think this is controller, this is audio. So the video is entirely related to this anyway. And like I say, they're all, yeah, they're all solid. There's no issues with any of them. Yeah, they're all definitely on, I'd say. Yep. That was going to happen. Got the world's shortest leads on this multimeter. So we do this without this all in the way. So we just go down these and do like there to there, for example. Then not shorted, connected, not shorted, connected. Now that's saying shorted together. But are they meant to be? That's the question. And just look under the scope at that one. It's quicker me just quickly look under the scope than swap it back to microscope every 2 seconds. Yeah, so the next 4 pins on the ribbon are all shorted together, so that's normal. So you can actually see it on the underside. So this, and this pin are all shorted underneath. So that is what is meant to happen. So that, and that will join, which they do. And then that isn't a connection, and then this one is, and it doesn't connect there, so that's all solid. I guess we might as well check every one of these. So by probing at the top and then underneath, we know that the ribbon's good, and then the next pin it's not shorting, and then you move it down. So you kind of walk down the ribbon like this to check. Right, so those two are shorted and they shouldn't be. Yep, so there's an issue here. They shouldn't be shorted because there's 2 lines. Well, let's check if they're shorted or if it's just low ohms. No, they're definitely shorted, so there's a problem here. So maybe microscope size. Oh, yeah, there is a short on that one. See it there? So maybe it is just the ribbons are awkward to get on. And any fault results in that exact same visual, maybe. Let's try that again. So on that open, that open. Power. HDMI. And turn on. No difference. Do we get menu though? No, no difference. So completely irrelevant to the issue, which is strange because you've got a pin that shouldn't be shorted that's shorted, but has no bearing whatsoever on the actual function. So we did, we're up to there. And the short's now gone. Another one there. And I can't see it again there at the minute, but let's zoom in. That's what I thought was yellow under the ribbon. That looks like maybe that must be some kind of short underneath. There's nothing else visually there, so it's got to be that yellow, which I just thought was a... Well, it might still be. Might be the ribbon underneath joining them, but I highly doubt it because there's no point. Yep, so that was a little short as well, so hopefully maybe this is going to work. And then the trick would be to solder the ribbon like we did, pushed in. That's on overlay. And then, fingers crossed. Ooh, yay, I think we got it done. Yep, there we go. Menu still doesn't work. The on-screen menu, but that isn't the main issue. That could well be that. Well, it shouldn't be. The wire's on. There's no reason that menu shouldn't be working really. But the main thing is that. So yeah, you can see on the ribbon side. Back to what we originally said is that if you don't solder these close up, they don't flow. Like you saw how difficult they were to flow at the side. So I think they need to definitely extend the pins so you don't have to bend these. And then I'd normally just like flux and drag solder down these pins in one go. Just unfortunately, we just got two shorts on there at the same time. But a short in what looks like a random short here or a random short here, all seem to give the exact same visual output. So it seems almost like if there's any single pin damaged or shorted anywhere, the visual goes to that kind of pink screwed up visual, but it's always that exact way. It's almost like as if it can't do a certain thing, that's the visual you end up with, which is why it's constantly there. It's the controller with the menu. Yeah, I don't know whether it might just be the fact that PS1 controller doesn't work the same, or the third-party ones don't. I don't think we've even got a... Actually, I have got a genuine PS2. So let's just try actual, real PS2 controller. Let's see if this works. Analog on and off. No, so menus just don't... menus do not work, which is strange. Yep, on-screen menu. But like I said, we have got... The only thing is we've got technically a damaged ribbon in that area, but we've definitely repaired it. There's the wire to the controller port. Goes to here. We've counted the pins. Goes to here, and it's definitely on the right pin. I'll say that. We can probably confirm that by just measuring a working one, maybe. Yeah, I think pretty much the takeaway from that is if you get that visual, it's not necessarily a certain pin. It seems like almost any pins. If any one pin is bad or any few pins are bad, it seems to almost be, you get that purple screen, and that's almost like as if it can't resolve, maybe if it can't resolve a certain range of data, like the lower bits or the higher bits, that's the visual you end up with. But the ribbons are definitely something I think they need to improve so you don't have to move them about, and they shouldn't be that hard to solder either. I mean, that chip isn't exactly fine pitched technically for the soldering. It's not that hard to solder. And obviously, I think the main issue is the length of the pins is the main issue. Let's just move this out the way, man, so we can double check I've got this right. So we had, this is a working ribbon that isn't ripped. We can probe D0 was the one that we wanted to check, and on here we said it was 16 pins over. So what we can just do is yeah, we can unplug the board. So here's the board that's actually got it wired in. So we can literally leave that in, plug this working ribbon into this board. That's the way to do it. And then now we can probe on that wire and probe on this end that's actually still working here and check if we've got the right pin. That's the best solution. And then we know if that's on, there's an issue with the menu, but I'm not overly concerned about the menu. The issue was the video. I can figure the menu out, I'm sure. Yeah, so it's definitely that pin. And we're on that wire. And that goes all the way to the controller port, which it does. So yeah, we've got the right pin. It's definitely connected, even though the ribbon looks torn, it is connected. So there's some issue with on-screen menu as well. Hey, welcome in on YouTube. We're pretty much wrapped up now, I think. I don't know what else we can do for the menu, but like I said, I'm not overly fussed about the menu. I wanted to just figure out this HDMI stuff, but it does look like if we solder them closer in, it makes those a lot easier. And then these we can bend in. The only thing with this as well, I want to use this kind of wire. So I can use that little stripper, because it's definitely quicker and nice to have pre-stripped wire like this, but we've seen already that with what happens with solid core wire that's thicker is you can, pull traces. I've never done that with enamel wire once, and the very first one we've done, we've pulled a trace here, so I don't know whether to see if the factory can still get this solid core wire but thinner, but with a thicker. We just need the insulation to be thicker so we can strip it, basically. But we don't want the wire itself to be thick. So I think I like the idea, but I think we do need some thinner wire for that as well. Let me do one last stare at all these pins and make sure they're going correct. So D0, let's pull it up on screen so you can see at the same time as well. This one. Right, so here's the guide. You can see here, these three, so you got red, green, yellow, go to red, green, yellow. So that is effectively red, green, yellow over there. So red, green, yellow, you can see the first one goes around over to at the top, and then the next one down goes under through to here to the next one, and the bottom one goes to the bottom one. So that's them three definitely, and I think that's audio anyway, so we know that's good. That is to that pin, which again is on that pin. I think you have to scroll up to see it showing that there on the pin, so that's also good. And then this will be the controller, and you can see here you've got D1, and that goes down and goes to the far left pin on here, which this goes down and goes to the far left pin. So that's obviously right. The second one is the one that's floating, but we know goes to D1, and we've balled it all the way out to the end. That would be this D1, which is right. Chip select goes down through and ends up to here. So that's 4 pins off the end, which is 4 pins off the end with 3 in between. 1, 2, 3, so that's definitely right. and then the clock is the one next to it. Which goes up, crosses over, and ends up at clock, and 3 volts is 3 volts, which does go to this pin under here. It's just this wire's in the way, and I don't want to tug. So that obviously looks like everything is definitely on. We just don't have menu in this case. So that's another mystery for another day, I think, that one. But yeah, ultimately the problem on this one's just been the solder shorts on these 2 pins here. But the issue would have been if we didn't move this forward. You'd have seen how difficult that would have been to solder, and then you'd have ended up with like pads that weren't soldered that look soldered, or when this ribbon flexes up and down like this, you fracture the pins here. So it's just overall, I think the problem with this kit mainly is this ribbon could do with really just these pins all lengthening slightly so they fit in. I think that's the only real problem we've got. And then once you've built confidence soldering them on and you know the ribbons are good, you'd focus a bit more on improving the soldering, basically. But yeah, that seems like the only issue so far. I just know I had a nightmare with these doing them before Christmas, basically. So yeah, I, as far as I can see, that's all soldered right on the controller. And if you go to the top, it also says built-in menu, and I don't know how high up you have to go to find the menu. It's in here somewhere. So here, press select X and 0 for 1 second. And I've had the menu up. We've done multiple of them, and you do get this menu. So pass on that one, basically. Maybe just try another one of these boards. All the other units for Christmas, no, we did them. I just kept building them. I just built PlayStation after PlayStation until it worked, basically. So, and then all the ones that didn't work, we just removed the mod from, so they're back to stock. But yeah, it was an absolute nightmare. We've rarely had anything with that much issue on, basically, like, you know, failed install. So let's see if this works. Should still boot, obviously. Menu, yeah, nothing on menu, just doesn't work on menu. I'm wondering whether it needs maybe, as daft as it is, the fact that the menu works here, maybe it needs to load into a game or have the disk drive or something. If I find that out, I could probably do with adding a guide to the wiki, to be honest, for this, our own little remade guide for it. And like I say, I could scope the pins and stuff, but I'm not that fussed. This was just a test run. But yeah, we do need the menu working though. So I'll probably secure this ribbon in, build it up fully, see if it works with the menu. But it's obviously not going to be the board, because that's now a second board. It's not going to be this. This is all video. These are the controller ports. So yeah, I think that's it. I can't go any further with this one. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it only works fully booted, I don't know how much work there is in getting this thing fully booted in the state it's in. Obviously, you plug it into the right connector. Do that one. Right. Let's just connect up disk drive, coin cell battery, it. Ah, the wire's off now. Wicked. Do we still have solder on this that we can see? No, pin 16. Also, the fact that it's come off, maybe it's a bit of shit solder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, I can't even see solder on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16. So let's try and mark that so I can see it. Second counting to 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there. 1 second, I'll solder this on, but I'll be on mute. Right, we're back again. Let's tap this on here. So this might not have probably do with, to be honest, I'm going to do this on the microscope so I can see what I'm doing. That's kind of part of the problem of doing this when I'm not looking properly. This might not have been on. Mind you, we tested it with a multimeter, so it was on. I was going to say it might not have been on well enough, but it must have been because we tested it with multimeter and there wasn't a problem. So I think this is just more likely it just pinged off when we were moving stuff around. Let's got that. There we go, so that's rock solid, not going anywhere. I can't even remember where we're up to. We were just what were we even doing on this? Oh, we were just building it up fully, weren't we? See if it doesn't work until you build it up fully. So we'll soon find out. Power in there. right there. Turn on. No, no different. So this just literally doesn't seem to work with on-screen menu either. Which is strange. Yep, and the disk drive works, so it's fully booted, but yeah, let's try plugging it in. Yeah, no menu. No. So yeah, maybe they are just a bit glitchy. Certainly seem to be troublesome anyway. And we know, like I say, that's, even though we've got that wire, we've belled that out, so we're 100% sure that wire's right, but we still don't get a menu. Yeah, so, well, that's that anyway. We've got that on. I'll contact High-Speedo still about the menu, ask them to confirm how it should work, if there's any diagnostics we can do, try and get that fixed, because we do need to obviously get this working. PS2 FAT, I don't think we've done one. We've stopped working on the PS2 FAT a while ago. So they sell them for it, but I can't remember us doing them really. So that's it. So I'll see subs in a few hours. Like 2 hours, and then we'll carry on with the Game Boy board. If I get this figured out, I'll let you know on Discord as well. If we figure out why the menu doesn't work, just so we know. And then probably the next one of these I'll stream it as well, and we can do it a second time and get some practice in on soldering these ribbons. But it seems like that technique works fine. Moving that closer to and soldering all the main ones nice and easy, and then bending the ribbon. Basically exactly what we did seems like the best technique. It's just we had a few shorts on it in the process. And then now, like I say, on-screen menu doesn't work, which we'll see. And if anyone is, well, there's no one on TikTok, so if anyone's on TikTok, I'm not going to bother. Not going to bother streaming on TikTok anymore. We've done it. I've contacted the people. They've unblocked it and they blocked us again. It's not worth the bandwidth. So this will be the last TikTok stream. I probably won't bother with it at all now. Just seems like they're destroying the audience at the minute. So YouTube and Twitch going forward. We've still got Facebook going, but Facebook will be the only. Well, no, it's not the only vertical. YouTube shorts are still vertical, but yeah, YouTube and Twitch are definitely the two to make sure you're watching on. Oh yeah, let me see where Rusty is first. And now he'll be on sub only stream. He's snoring his head off in the kitchen, so I'm not going to wake him up. Yeah, I could do TikTok uploads. I just can't be bothered. I never made any money off TikTok. Never really gained anything. Got thousands of views, but it didn't really do anything for the business. So it isn't worth my time. I'll focus on the others, basically. Right, guys, I'll see you, like I say, subs in a few hours. I'll see everybody else maybe in a few days.